Games with Boston, and then the Royals turned that around with an 8-run sixth inning last night. 5-run scoring with 2 outs. 12 Royals batted. Eric Hosmer, who had 2 hits in the inning, capped the burst with a 2-run triple. The Royals need a win today for a split with Boston. Game 4 is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. John Lester appeared to be a little more hittable the last time he faced the Royals. That was last month, but he still remains a Royal pain. And this afternoon at Kauffman Stadium, he'll go up against Danny Duffy. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. It was a disappointing start to this series with the Red Sox, but the Royals had a big night last night. And if they win today, that is a .500 season against not just the Red Sox, but also the Yankees.
When you look at your young team coming into a season, you say, how well are they going to play against the big guys? And the Royals are playing very well with a win today. This would be something definitely this team can build on for the future.
Last time the Royals accomplished that, .500 or better against the Red Sox and the Yankees, was 1993. Last night, good hitting, good starting pitching, another excellent night from the bullpen led by Greg Holland. And Greg Holland, remember last year in 15 games, his ERA was 6.75. Now 1.55. He just keeps rolling along, and his last 2 outings have come against the best 2 teams in the league.
And this is where you cut your teeth right here. This is where you find out what your stuff is really like when you face the best hitters in the league. And he's come out with his fastball, which has a lot of movement to it at 96. He's got a great split finger and a great slider to go with it, but he's a very confident pitcher at this time.
Man, what a year. The key number here is 1. He has not allowed more than 1 run in a game. He's given up 1 earned run at home. That's 25 innings, and only 1 home run allowed in 27 games against the American League. So it's been a great season for him. It's been a great season for Alex Gordon. A career season in every category. And last night he hit a milestone with his 500th career hit. We'll take a look at the Boston Red Sox against Danny Duffy when we come back. Kansas City. And Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Boston Red Sox lineup today against Danny Duffy.
Dustin Pedroia batting fourth. Danny Duffy, you have to look out for him. A .392 average this year versus left-handed pitching. That's the best in the majors. And Carl Crawford, the Red Sox will need him to get going, but he needs 3 more stolen bases to record his 9th 20 stolen base season in a row.
In addition to that young bullpen, the other constant for the Royals all year has been their defense. And in Game 1 against the Red Sox, the Royals had 3 outfield assists. They've been diving all over the place. Alex Gordon's made 2 great plays, including this one on Friday. And more Alcides Escobar with some help from Eric Hosmer. That was from last night's game. And here are the Royals defensively today, presented by Ram Trucks.
The Royals are bringing that good outfield into this afternoon's game. All guys are playing very well defensively, and Eric Hosmer is making his 93rd start at first base as a rookie. And Salvador Perez, in 9 starts, has 49 blocks.
Danny Duffy's first start against Boston was not a good one. And in addition to having a clean slate today, he also faces a lineup with no David Ortiz, Kevin Youkilis, or Jacoby Ellsbury. The first pitch is next. Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Let's go out to left field, and here's Joel Goldberg.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Danny Duffy just came out of the bullpen after warming up. The tough task of solving the Boston Red Sox after struggling against the Yankees earlier in this week. But talking to Ned Yost, very happy with Danny Duffy early in that game against the Yankees. And then he's wondering whether he lost some of that command after being hit on that line drive in the calf. Not sure if that was the key to that or not, but what he did say in going up against teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox is that those are teams that have such a good approach at the plate. If you make a mistake, they will let you make that mistake and then pay for it. So far this year, the Yankees and Red Sox have done that to Danny Duffy, so we'll see how he does against this veteran team today, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. Here's the Kia report on Danny Duffy making his 17th start, 3-7. including a no decision against the Boston Red Sox. And Danny's getting up there as far as pitch count goes. Remember, last year he only pitched 62 1/3 innings. And this year, if you combine the minor leagues and the big leagues, he's pitched over 124 innings with his limit right around 150. Red Sox tagged him for 6 runs in 3 2/3 innings in Boston on July 26th. And his first pitch to Marco Scutaro pops out of Perez's glove, but it's a strike. Scutaro out the first 2 games and 6 games in a row with a stiff back. Returned last night 0 for 3 with 2 walks. Just missed, and it's 1-1. Scutaro against Danny Duffy last month was 1 for 3 with a double. And staying with his fastball, and it's 1-2.
I think what the Royals want to see out of Danny Duffy as he gets closer to that 150 inning mark is they just wanted to finish on a high note. It's a long winter, and it'd be great if he can just go out down the stretch here, pitching the way he wants to pitch, show a lot of improvement, and take that into the offseason.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Joel was talking about Danny Duffy's last start against the Yankees and how he got off to a good start, and it was a 1-2-3 first inning, a quick first inning, but it was a struggle the rest of the way. And the highlight, or maybe the low light for him, was that long battle with Robinson Cano, a 12-pitch at bat, which included 8 foul balls, 7 foul balls in a row before Cano hit a 3-run home run. That was in the 4th inning, and Danny gave up 8 runs, 8 hits in only 3 innings. Did not record an out in that 4th. And now 3 balls and 2 strikes to Scutaro. Everything has been away to Marco Scutaro, and a foul back into the screen. Now Danny, as far as his start against the Red Sox, they really worked him over in the first inning. He threw 33 pitches in the first.
Well, like you said, Ryan, right now he's been one-sided, and if he's got to mix it up. You mix it up, you get outs a lot faster. When you paint everything in that one zone, then the hitter stays out there, and you get those foul balls start to mount up.
So Scutaro was down, but he's able to reach with a walk. 2 great days in a row after all that rain yesterday morning and afternoon. Nothing but sunshine and blue sky in Kansas City. 85 degrees with a wind blowing in from right. Game started right on time at 1:10, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. And a fastball is in there to Darnell McDonald. 2 hits, 2 RBIs for McDonald. Started the last 2 games. He was in right field on Friday, and then with no Ellsbury in the lineup last night or today, McDonald is playing in center field. And he hits it to center field and to Melky Cabrera. Today is a carsoup.com email the booth day. So go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, CarSoup asks for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a different page where you can submit your question. And Joe Goldberg will be joining us later today to ask and answer some of your carsoup.com questions. Now Duffy gets Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez was hitless on Thursday. which made him 0 for his previous 14. And then he had 3 hits on Friday, 2 doubles, and then hitless last night. Still leads the league with a .343 average. Two-0.
Gonzalez got a real good shot at 200 hits this year. He's at 172 hits already, and he's got such a nice, quiet approach at the plate, and just really just utilize his hands really well. You don't see a lot of wasted movement in his at bat.
Got that call. 2-1. Among the league leaders in several offensive categories, including grounding into double plays. He has grounded into the most in the American League, 25 times. Duffy still coming right at him. It's 2-2. Full count.
Well, it looks like Danny just made up his mind. He's going to come out and establish his fastball, and that's been the pitch of the day so far. And the one thing about not utilizing your breaking ball every now and then is that you got to throw it every now and then and just keep a feel for it.
Scudero takes off, and it's fouled away. Red Sox are 5 out of 5 in stolen base attempts, and 4 of those coming in game 1 against Salvador Perez. And as we've mentioned a few times during the series, the Red Sox haven't been intimidated at all by Perez's arm or the outfield arms. Now, they've been thrown out quite a few times by the outfield in the series, but they continue to force the Royals to make plays with their arms. Scudero runs again. That's a strikeout, and Scudero trying to go back to first base, and he's tagged out. So the first Red Sox runner is tagged out in the series, and that's an inning-ending double play. Pitching for the Red Sox, facing this Royals lineup.
Well, Royals had a great offensive explosion last night in the 6th inning. These are the guys in the lineup that had multi-hit games last night for the Royals.
John Lester making his 7th start against the Royals. His career ERA against KC is 1.28. He is a strikeout pitcher. 148 innings, 143 strikeouts. On the road, he's been even more effective than at Fenway Park. 2.93 ERA compared to 3.22 overall. And the league hitting just .205 against John Lester when he wears gray.
Hey, get on the road and get away from that wall. It'll save you a few hits off that wall.
Alex Gordon's had a great series against Boston. He has 5 hits. 4 of those are extra base hits. A home run, 3 doubles, and he has driven in 5. And Lester throws strike 1. And Alex, every now and then, just to prove that he's a legitimate leadoff man, will try and lay down a bunt. 0-2. So John Lester is good on the road. Alex Gordon is very good at home. That's 34 points better than his overall average. More than half of his home runs are here, and more than half of his RBIs are at Kauffman Stadium. Well, more than half. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Alex must feel some comfort in playing against the Red Sox. In 24 career starts, he's against the Red Sox. He's hitting .360, so he's had a lot of success against Red Sox pitching.
Pulls a curve foul, still 1-2.
You know, in the leadoff spot, you always wonder if he's a prototypical leadoff guy. You say probably not because of the lack of speed, but for what he can do offensively, hit a double, home run, start the game off. He can steal a base against the right guy, but being able to get maybe 10, maybe 11 of those bunt hits in there during the course of a season with the third baseman playing back, that could play huge for his batting average.
Still 1-2. Alex has said that he really wants to improve his base stealing next year. He has 13. He's been thrown out 7 times. He had 20 the year he played for you.
He did everything right. In 06, there's nothing he couldn't do right that year. Everything fell right in line for him, and also Billy Butler, who led the league in hitting that year. Both those guys had great years.
22 to be exact. In 2006 at Wichita, and only thrown out 3 times. Three and 2. Coming back from no balls, 2 strikes with Melky Cabrera next. John Lester, 6'4", 240 pounds. Out of Tacoma, Washington. A career record that is 42 games above 500. And he got a fastball over the outside. Alex not so sure. So it's an 8-pitch battle between Lester and Gordon. And Lester's first strikeout. Now look at the Red Sox defensive lead presented by Ram Truck.
Darnell McDonald going to be back in center field tonight. Jacoby Ellsbury missed his second start with a contusion to the back. And Dustin Pedroia playing great second base right now. Only 4 errors on the season. And John Lester will be called by the captain of the Red Sox, Jason Varitek.
Ball 1 to Melky Cabrera, who added to his career season last night with his 74th RBI. So a new career high in that department to go with home runs and doubles. And he's way above his career batting average at the moment, hitting at .305. 21 career at bats, as Melky played in the same division as John Lester when he was with the Yankees. And Melky hits .429 against John Lester. That was a swing, and it's 1-2. Melky's career batting average before this year was .267.
I guess it's one of the tough things for a GM or for a manager to try to figure out is you get a guy who's coming off a bad year, and he really hasn't, like you say, 260 lifetime, and then all of a sudden he has this outstanding year. So going forward, the toughest thing is projecting, is this going to be a one-year thing, or is this is going to be him for the next 5 years? So that's where the tough thinking comes in, and the tough projecting comes in on a player like Melky Cabrera.
Backhanded by Lowry, and his long throw is in plenty of time. 2 away. John Lester's career highlight coming against the Royals in May of 2008 when he threw a no-hitter at Fenway Park. His first major league complete game, and that was 2 years after recovering from cancer, anaplastic large cell lymphoma. So able to come back from that. Won a couple of significant awards for his ability to overcome that and pitch the way he has. As Butler lifts it to center. McDonald fading back, and that's the inning. Baseball is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. And you can see a Chevy out in right center field in the outfield experience at Kauffman Stadium each and every Royals home game. Danny Duffy walked Marco Scutaro to begin the game, but then retired Darnell McDonald and then struck out Adrian Gonzalez in a strikeout throw-out double play. So Pedroia bats with nobody on, and Duffy throws a fastball for a strike. Pedroia filling in, as he does from time to time, as the number 4 hitter. Kevin Youkilis was placed on the disabled list before the first game of the series. Escobar runs down his ground ball, and 1 away. You can secure your priority to the 2012 All-Star Game with 2012 season tickets. It's the only way to make sure you are part of Kansas City history. And for details, go to Royals.com/2012. One out to Jed Lowry. Boston's first-round pick in 2005 out of the University of Stanford, or Stanford University. 4 hits and 8 at-bats in the 2 games he started in. 2-0. As a sophomore at Stanford, he was the Triple Crown winner and the Pac-10. And a teammate of John Mayberry Jr. 2-1.
I think anytime you go in and replace a guy like Kevin Youkilis at third base, all the offense that he brings to the Red Sox, you're not looking to go in there and beat Kevin Youkilis. You just want to stay consistent, play the defense, number one, and it's get some base hits and help the club with some other little areas to set up some runs for the guys in the lineup.
Perez will run out of room, and it's 3-2. Another reason why he's in there today with Danny Duffy on the mound. Good numbers against left-hand pitching, and he was a starter on Friday night when Jeff Francis started for the Royals, and in that game against Jeff Francis, he was 3 for 3. Still 3-2. It's like one of those stationary cameras you see when there's an earthquake.
Just don't hit it.
Francoeur digging to the line, across the line, 2 outs in the second inning. Danny Duffy hoping to go deep into the game today, and his pitch count will have a lot to say about that. He is in a stretch right now where he hasn't been able to go deep. 5 innings or less in 7 of his last 10. Off to a good start. He's retired the last 4. Now pitches to rookie Ryan Lavarnway, who made his big league debut on Thursday. Got his first big league hit on Friday. Sounded like he hit that with a wiffle ball bat, and he drops it into left center field for his 4th major league hit.
Well, you don't very rarely see a fastball go through a bat, but I think Danny Duffy threw this fastball right through Lavarnway's bat. It just snapped right in half, and that piece is going a little bit everywhere. And because of he's big and strong, he's able to get this ball out into the outfield. I mean, it just sounded so like a thud, you know. That had to hurt.
That did not sound like wood. Fastball thrown by Carl Crawford. Royals have pitched him well this year. The league has pitched him well. Crawford has struggled to keep his batting average above 250. Against the Royals this year, 25 at bats, only 5 hits. And Duffy's ahead 0-2. Carl Crawford's a good player, but you can see why maybe the Red Sox really wanted him, because they wanted to improve their running game. And Carl Crawford against the Red Sox when he was with the Rays was 62 out of 66 in stolen base attempts, including a game where he had 6 stolen bases. Danny Duffy has 2 scoreless innings today. Of Lincoln, Nebraska, our most recent winner in the sprint, you call it question, sweepstakes. That's not easy to say, but I said it. Larry also spent a big chunk of his childhood living in the state of Kansas, now in Lincoln, and enjoying the suite right behind home plate. A very simple you call it question for today. What do you think Greg Holland's role should be next year? A starter, A, reliever, B. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals, a space, and then A or B.
Well, let's get a good look at what he's got here. He's got a good split finger. He's got a good fastball. He's got a good slider. And he's been successful against the best hitters in the league, best teams in the league.
Also pitched last night.
Well, you can see right there, he's still dominating. I think at home, he's only got a 1 earned run in 25 innings at home. So he's got the stuff in the role that he's in. But I think the one thing that would concern me about him being a starter would be just not having a changeup or something soft that he can go to keep the hitters off balance. Then you always got to look at stamina. You got to look at overall command over a long period of time.
I would think he would have some challenges pacing himself, because he comes out of the bullpen going 100%, and that'll only take you so far if you're a starter. Hosmer walks on 4 straight pitches, and the Royals have their first base runner against John Lester. So I will go with reliever.
I'm going to stay with you. I think he's in the right role right now.
Yep.
Joel, how about you?
Yes. Guys, I will agree. So for the first time, maybe ever, we all have the same choice. You know, he's a max effort guy. You guys touched on this a little bit. And it just seems like you get him in there for that 1 or 2 innings, and he is dominant. And Frank, you mentioned the pacing, and I'm sure he could make the adjustment. But I love the role that he's in right now, and I think, and of course you never know until you get the guy in a 9th inning role, but I think he's got closer stuff.
Can't disagree with that.
I think he does too.
Of course, we were all saying the same things about Aaron Crow earlier in this year. We love the role that he's in. Do you want to mess with what he's in? But, you know, the difference is that Aaron Crow was coming up as a starter, was a starter in college, and all these guys at some point or another in their life have started. But, I mean, Greg Holland is putting up unbelievable numbers, some of the best that we've seen in Royals history.
2 strikes to Jeff Francoeur with Hosmer at first. Back into the netting. Just some impressive notes for Holland. He has not given up more than 1 run in any game. 1 earned run here at home. That's what Frank was talking about. How about 1 home run in 27 games against the American League? And the Royals are above 500 in his outings, and that has more to do with lately he has been Ned Yost's 8th inning guy. He has been the bridge between the starter or the middle relief and Joakim Soria. And you never know if he can handle the 9th inning as a closer until he's out there.
That's when you find out for sure, but he just hasn't wavered. I mean, he's just been the same guy in delivering the same performance night in, night out. And I think that Ned Yost realized that even though he likes Aaron Crow in the role that he was in, when Aaron Crow had some problems with command, then he kind of went to the hot guy, which was Holland, and then he's been with him ever since.
You know what's amazing to me, guys, is that, you know, we saw him make his debut in the Royals. He's officially a rookie this season, but we saw him make his debut, and, you know, I mean, it was kind of nondescript. I mean, he was a guy that was up here, and we see the numbers bouncing a little bit, but certainly in favor of choice B, reliever. And, you know, he was up here. He was the first Dayton Moore draft pick to make it up here, but he didn't really just differentiate himself. I mean, he was a kid that was up in the minors. He went and worked at winter ball in the offseason, went and started the year in AAA Omaha, and ever since then he has just been dominant.
Yeah, his ERA last year was 6.75 in 15 games. And remember, he did not make the Royals out of spring training, even though he had a good spring training. Didn't get to the Royals until the middle of May. So send in your text, and if you do, you'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint with instructions on how you can register to win a suite, just like Larry Randolph of Lincoln, Nebraska. A suite for a day for you and 11 friends and family, or even people you don't like. Hosmer at first with one out to Johnny Giavotella. Giavotella 1 out of 8 in the first 2 games of the Red Sox, and then was off last night with Tim Wakefield and his knuckleball on the mound. So Chris Getz was the starter at second base, and Getz in that 8-run 6th inning had the game-tying RBI single. 1-0. Two balls and no strikes. I don't remember John Lester pitching this slowly.
I agree with that. I mean, he usually has the ball and he's ready to go all the time. And a lot of times when you don't feel quite comfortable in your delivery, or sometimes they get in that, don't know they're into it, somebody's got to make them aware that they need to pick it up a little bit. But it can throw your rhythm off, and your command goes right with it.
Popped up. And Pedroia wants it with the sunglasses on. 2 away in the second inning. It is K-State Day at Kauffman Stadium. So little splashes of purple throughout the ballpark. The simplest mascot in the Big 12. A guy with a Wildcat head. And Brad Hill, the head baseball coach at K-State, will be joining us in the next half inning. If Willie loses his outfit, it doesn't take too long to put the other one back together.
He's going to be a lot cooler. Right? He's a lot cooler than, say, Slugger would be on a hot day like today.
You don't have to find some of those big shoes or the big
gloves.
Paws.
Yeah, paws is the word.
Salvador Perez hitless in 8 plate appearances in this series, and he's 0 for his last 11 going back to the Yankees series, but he played a role in the Royals' big inning, the 8-run 6 with a walk and a run scored. Getting a look at John Lester for the first time. He wasn't up yet when the Royals faced Lester in Boston. So after a fast start at the plate, Perez now with 6 hits in 33 at-bats. One and one. Just an amazing statistic about Perez, and we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. In 9 starts since joining the Royals, he has blocked 49 balls in the dirt.
That's unbelievable.
It's a lot of balls in the dirt. I mean, it's impressive for him, but that's a lot to block in a short period of time.
Oh, yeah, young guy coming out of AAA. You got a chance. That's a lot of pass ball potential in there, and I tell you, he's done a great job of just centering the ball in his body, keeping it out in front of him, And that just goes back to what you learn as you're coming up through the minor leagues. This is where they do most of that work and blocking balls on a regular basis in the minor leagues.
Hosmer takes off. Tough hop on Lowry. Hosmer will hold, and the Royals will have 2 on in the second inning. It is an error on Jed Lowry.
Now, we talk a lot about a drop step, and that's probably what he needed right here, but he started backpedaling and never got his feet set, and the ball played him and got underneath his glove and went in that left field for an error. But that's one of those balls where you just got to read the hop, drop step back, make the hop long. But when you start backpedaling, you're not going to have a hard time playing the ball if it doesn't come to where you want it, but also that redirecting that throw to first base won't be quite as easy either.
Mike Moustakas digs in, and we go back to Joel.
Well, guys, I noticed that Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas both wearing green bracelets the last couple of days, and I asked them about it, and they said that they went to the University of Kansas Hospital on Friday and visited some kids in the hospital, and one of the boys that they visited, Jonas, is battling cancer. Jonas is from Lee's Summit, and so that bracelet says, "Fight the fight, Jonas." And so they're thinking about Jonas, wanted to wear those bracelets. They actually said that Jonas is a Yankees fan. He was a little bit embarrassed about that. They said they were able to convince him to root for the Royals at least when they're playing the Yankees. We'll see now if Mike Moustakas can deliver for Jonas, guys.
Thank you, Joel. Well, against the Yankees' biggest rival, Mike Moustakas is 4 out of 10. 2 doubles in this series. 381 on the homestand, and that gets his overall batting average up above 200. Below the knees, and it's 2-1. And now a block by Varitek. 3 balls and 1 strike. Varitek was behind the plate when John Lester threw the no-hitter against the Royals in 2008, and Varitek has been behind the plate for 4 Red Sox no-hitters. And even though the Royals don't have a hit yet in an inning and 2/3, this does not look like John Lester's A game, if you will. Full count. We don't see John Lester very often, thank goodness for that, the way he's pitched against the Royals, but looks like he's having some either mechanical issues or fighting the strike zone of home plate umpire Jim Reynolds, working with a very slow rhythm and tempo. Runners go with 2 outs, and Moustakas walks. So 3 base runners, 2 walks, and an error. And now a big spot for Escobar. It looks like Lester is trying to pump himself up. Red Sox should be out of this inning if Jed Lowry handles the ground ball from Perez. Escobar 2 out of 8, 2 runs scored in the first 3 games. And that is foul off the right field line.
Just one thing about his fastball, he's been just up in his zone quite a bit, and just getting that area at the plate where he needs to throw to keep the ball down. He just hasn't been able to find that with his breaking ball or his fastball.
And again, just below the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike. And he's coming off a very good start, so this is not a struggling pitcher coming into today. He held Tampa Bay to 3 hits in 7 innings. And 1 run. He struck out 8. His season high is 11. But having trouble with his control today as Escobar takes inside and he continues to fight the strike zone. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. So right now working with an average of 20 pitches per inning. Two and 1. Fouled it off of his foot. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now we've seen guys come up with hits after they foul the ball off of their foot, but generally speaking, Frank, how does that affect the rest of the at bat?
Well, I think it depends on where on the foot it gets hit. A lot of times, if it's high on the instep, it's pretty tough. You know, if it's down around the toes, it's hard. But basically, your mindset goes to inside because that's what they like to do. Once you foul the ball off your foot, a lot of times the catcher want to call another pitch inside, hoping that you'll be afraid that it'll hit it off your foot again, that you'll take the pitch. But you got to shake it off. You walk around until you get some feeling back in your toes, and then you get back in there. You know, back when I played, if it was bad enough, the trainer would come out there and had that little silver tube and it had that freeze stuff in it. They would just freeze it right there on the spot. Now they don't do that anymore, so you just kind of have to walk it off and get some feeling back before you get back in the box.
That foul ball, the result of Lester's cut fastball, which is a very good pitch. A fastball that rides in on a right-hand batter, and so it tied up Escobar. And he hit it off of his front foot, now waiting on Lester. And grounds it back to the mound. It has been a grind. And that's 2 hitless innings for John Lester. Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. K-State Day at Kauffman Stadium, so a little splash of purple around the ballpark on a beautiful sunny day. And while it's baseball and K-State Day, Brad Hill, head baseball coach, is here joining us and sharing with us before the inning started that the most important thing for him today was
getting the ball to the plate. Just get it to the plate. That's
throwing
all.
out the first pitch.
I have a little more of an understanding now what our guys go through sometimes. You're playing a stadium like a Texas with 7,000 people. You go to that mound, that catcher looked a long ways away. That was my son out there, and I didn't want to embarrass him or myself or the university. So
Danny Duffy back to work with Jason Varitek, Josh Reddick, and Marco Scutero coming up in the 3rd inning. Coach Hill has had a great run at K-State. How you feeling about 2011?
Well, you're always, like I said, you're optimistic.
Well, it'll be 2012.
It'll be 12. It will be 12, and A lot of new faces in our program, but that's kind of the natural thing. You have some turnover and lost some key guys, but we're excited about it. Our guys coming in, it's going to be a new group, a young group, so the challenges will be there. But that's what college baseball is all about.
Brad, do you find it difficult to recruit at Manhattan?
No, like I said, again, we have our unique things there, and obviously it presents some challenges. But at the same time, with they've done a lot of things for us, administration, athletic department. They've been behind us. Our facilities, our facilities fit perfectly with who we are. The strengths of the colleges, obviously, you can recruit there from an academic standpoint. It's great academics there. And, again, I think we've done some things there that opens up some eyes. And obviously the conference we play in, that's a tremendous advantage, too, from that standpoint.
Well, that's got to be a real good selling point to the incoming players when you go to visit them on the recruiting trips, when you talk about the academics, how important it is to you as well as it is to the university.
No question. And again, you want to make sure that they understand the importance of that education. Our university, based on our athletic department, we've led the Big 12 in graduation rates the last couple of years, and that's obviously a positive factor. When your mom and dad are looking at that, they want to make sure when their young man comes here, he's going to get 3 good years of education, 4 years. If professional baseball doesn't come in, then talk about being in a good position. And our university is very positive, very supportive of our athletic department and what we do. And again, we kind of do our part too when we look at the graduation rates of our athletic department.
That's great.
Nice play by Eric Hosmer. Another good play by him going up the right field line. The program has had quite a turnaround since you've taken over. What has been the center of that? Have you changed the style of play? Is there a type of player that you've gone after since taking over?
Yeah, again, we kind of pride ourselves on how hard we play, and that's the thing we like. Our kids are very passionate about work ethic and coming in and wanting to go to work, and that's part of our deal. Like I said, we want to try to be a program that plays harder, plays more aggressive. Those are sort of things that we look for, and there's obviously a few guys out here today. Pedroia, I'm kind of obviously like to see Ellsbury play a little bit, but Hosmer, I like the way the guy plays hard, does the right things, and those are the kind of things that we look for in players coming to our program, or again, those guys that like to play hard and be very aggressive.
I would think that the Royals have several guys on their team right now that might still be eligible to play in college if they didn't sign out of high school. I mean, we got a team full of 21 and 22-year-olds.
It's exciting for Kansas City. The years coming up, no question about it. You look out there, and there's a lot of youth, and I think it's very exciting for this organization. I know everybody around is very excited about it, and just continue to hang with them because it's going to happen here pretty quick.
Another play by Hosmer going back to the bag to get Josh Reddick, and 2 away in the 3rd inning. Now there's a couple of Big 12 guys that the Royals have right now. Both of them first-round picks for the Royals. You saw Alex Gordon in Nebraska, and you saw Aaron Crow in Missouri.
No question. I'm glad they're here now and not playing against us anymore. I can tell you that. So both those guys, Gordon about hit one over a building in right field on a 3-0 count. So that's when we kind of learned you just don't throw a little 3-0 flutter ball in there. He about hit that thing over Brandenberry, and obviously Aaron Crow was a great arm at Missouri, had great success there, and never fun to face him when we had to.
Well, it's been a caravan stop I've been on several times. It's a great campus. You have a great baseball facility. I know the guys always work out there, and your program has really helped them continue to play catch during the caravan. It's so cold. I played a game there, and it was one of the coldest times I'd ever been on a baseball field. And I went to the University of Minnesota.
You're not helping our recruiting by that comment.
With that being said, really is a neat ballpark. And you got the facility right adjacent out in right field there. And, your school in particular, I bring that up because you really do have a nice setup, from an outsider.
We do.
In a cold weather facility, you can get a lot done at K-State.
No question. We know that. We know our weather conditions, obviously, so that's why we have that indoor facility. And our kids have access to that anytime they want, and they can go in there and hit. It's completely netted. It's a great situation. We have a weight room right there at the stadium with a great strength coach. And I think this last time I saw you might have been when you were on the elliptical right next to me. So
that's right.
So I can see you still working out. Looking pretty good.
Coach, thanks for stopping by.
You bet. Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Good luck to you in 2012. Brad Hill, head baseball coach at K-State.
You bet.
Bates Foundation in honor of her son, who died of sudden cardiac arrest as a football player in 2000 at K-State. The foundation promotes and educates others about the dangers of sudden cardiac arrest, which is the leading killer of young athletes in the country. She is in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat for today's game. It is K-State Day at Kauffman Stadium, and what a beautiful day it is. I enjoyed visiting with Brad Hill, head baseball coach at K-State, who's now going over to the Royals radio booth to talk to Denny Matthews and Bob Davis. Our third university day. We've had MU Day, KU Day, and now K-State Day. 1-1 to Alex Gordon. He struck out looking against John Lester in the first inning, an 8-pitch at bat. Lester has grinded through 2 innings. A little better with the strike zone here, and it's 1-2. Foul tip, and down he goes. So 2 strikeouts for Lester, and both against John Gordon. Here's a look at today's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Most team doubles in the American League, and the Royals are third. Royals are down the list in home runs hit in the American League, but they're on top of the list, or near the top, in extra base hits, and that's because of 250 doubles. And the Royals getting a double from Billy Butler last night, his 30th, and now the Royals have 4 players with at least 30 doubles, and it's the first time they've accomplished that in 8 years. It was 2003 when the Royals last had at least 4 hitters with 30 doubles, and we still have over a month to go in the season.
It's a lot of doubles, and you talk to most hitting coaches around the league, and that's what they want. They feel if their team can lead the league in doubles, then they feel like they can score a lot of runs.
Melky grounded out in the first inning, and it's just 1 for his last 13. And now he fouls one off of his foot and hits the deck, as Escobar did in the second inning. Melky has 33 doubles, so he's third on the Royals. Alex 1 double away from 40. Jeff Francoeur coming up on his career high 4 doubles. Billy Butler with 30, and Eric Hosmer, if he can get 10 doubles in the next 28 games, will give the Royals 5 hitters with at least 30.
You see Melky swings around this cutter going inside and right off that left ankle, and that's the ankle that he hurt trying to get back into first base, and you can really tell it's painful when a guy walks away, throws his bat one way. After he gets up, he throws his helmet off, and that's a lot of pain. That's one sign right there, and here comes the second sign. The helmet goes off, and I mean that's a lot of pain on an ankle that's already pretty tense.
Popped up. It is in the sun, and Lowry able to separate the ball from the sun and make the catch. 2 down in the third inning. John Lester got the Royals in order in the first, and then it was a struggle for him in the second. 2 walks. There was an error committed by Lowry, and that error forced John Lester to throw 11 more pitches. Billy Butler swung at the first pitch he saw from Lester in the first and flied to center field. And back in with a strike. Billy with a 9-game hitting streak, adding a .294. And in 8 games against the Red Sox this year, Billy has 10 RBIs, 8 of those in Boston in a 4-game series. 2-1. Slow curveball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Curveball to perfection. A lot of depth. Billy tried to get it at the height of it, and when he went to committed to swing, the ball went down underneath the swing. A lot of good top spin on that curveball.
Somebody yelled balk, so all the runners will move up. Wow. Lester standing like a statue, staring down Jim Reynolds, trying to figure out how that wasn't called a strike. Billy Butler might be wondering why that wasn't called a strike.
I don't think Billy wants to take that pitch again. I tell you that. I mean, that was not only a strike, but that was a hittable strike.
And misses high. Now Lester upset at himself, probably more upset with the home plate umpire. He has 3 walks. And this one comes with 2 down in the 3rd inning.
Well, this is where a catcher really can help a pitcher out right here. Jason Varitek realizes that this is a pitch that he wanted and didn't get. He realizes there's some frustration there, so he walks out slowly to the mound and really just tries to get him back focused on the next hitter. And that happened. That's gone. Let's go to the next hitter.
And now, Frank, there are some home plate umpires who will admit that they made a mistake.
Well, they probably will, but not after you yell, after you walk a guy that they don't know what that's intended for them, or you mad at yourself. And you know, sometimes the catcher can bring a message back to the umpire.
And that's what Varitek did. Before he got down into his crouch, he was face to face with Jim Reynolds for a moment, and I wonder if at some point Reynolds realized he missed the pitch. Varitek went out and delivered the message. Lester replies, and Varitek delivers that message.
It could have possibly happened that way for sure. But that's the experience of a catcher like Jason Varitek. You know, a young catcher probably wouldn't know to do that. And even though Lester's an experienced pitcher, still those guys still have to be managed at some point from the standpoint of their emotions.
4 balls, 2 strikes. And at times that will happen. Even though it appeared to be in Fox Tracks a borderline call, this time it goes Lester's way. So Hosmer down 0-2. He walked leading off the 2nd inning. Hooks a curveball over to Gonzalez, and that's the inning. 3 in the books and no score. And internet pitch speeds brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. Two hard-throwing lefties, John Lester and Danny Duffy. Only one hit for both teams combined in the first 3 innings. Ryan Lavarnway with a broken bat single to left center, and that's it. Duffy has walked 1 in his 3 innings. John Lester has walked 3 in his. 2-0 on Darnell McDonald. His favorite player when he was a kid was Bo Jackson, and that's appropriate because he was a heck of a football player in high school. He was on his way to the University of Texas to play football and baseball, and then the Baltimore Orioles lured him away, taking him in the first round in 1997. He's been a professional for a long time. His brother Donzel McDonald played in the big leagues briefly, including with the Royals for a handful of games in 2002. And there's a solid base hit. Melky cutting it off deep, and that holds McDonald to a single. Good play by Cabrera in center field. The ball got through Giavotella, but McDonald had already gone back to the bag.
Well, Melky's on the right field side of second base, and you got to question that ankle of his and how well it feels after fouling that ball off of it. And Duffy throws a fastball. McDonald hits a line drive into left center field. Melky goes a long way, and you can see right there just trying to get his feet together and just made a strong throw back into second base. And luckily, McDonald had already broke it down because he probably could have went on into second base after the ball got through Giavotella.
Fouled back by Adrian Gonzalez, and Danny struck him out in the first inning, and on the same play Marco Scutaro was caught stealing. So Gonzalez only 3 out of 13 in this series. Once again, we bring up he leads the league grounding into double plays with 25. Lays off the curve. McDonald gets caught in no man's land. Got around Hosmer. Nope. Called out by Mike DeMuro, whose first call was just a point at the ground. So that was the point of the tag. And McDonald is caught stealing.
But he just got caught in the, when the ball went in the dirt, you got to continue on. Once you hesitate, you're in trouble, especially when it's Salvador Perez and his throwing arm. So DeMuro made the call and from first base, and Tim Welke made the call from second base on the same play.
You know, he might have been calling him out of the baseline.
So you can see Tim Welke there in the second base umpire saying out of the baseline.
And the baseline is described as, on a play like that, the runner establishes his baseline. So as long as he stays on that line and within 3 feet of that line, he's all right. He can't avoid the tag, but the rule book says once you go beyond 3 feet of that established baseline, that is a violation. So McDonald caught stealing. Gonzalez flies out. 2 outs and nobody on.
Well, that's his established line right here on this rundown play, and he just sort of gradually just moves out.
So each one of those circles are 3 feet or a foot wide, Frank.
Yeah, we haven't seen the most precise rundown plays here today. It's been a lot of people involved in them, and when you have that many people involved in a rundown play, something can easily go wrong. Usually it's an interference call.
Dustin Pedroia grounded out to short in the second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pedroia is the best hitter in the American League against left-hand pitching. Against Jeff Francis on Friday, he was 0 for 1 with a couple of intentional walks. That dropped him below 400 for the year against lefties.
Park.
He has outstanding numbers at Kauffman Stadium.
Man, 464. Wow. Now, he may like this park better than he does Fenway Park.
I don't know about that.
I think it's something alluring about that big wall out there that gets you a few more hits during the course of the season. This is a big ballpark.
I'll give you $5 if you can get him to admit he likes Kauffman Stadium more than Fenway Park. Nothing against Kauffman Stadium, but when you play for the Boston Red Sox, you better regard Fenway Park in the class of some of the great cathedrals in our country. Giavotella backs up and makes the play. So leadoff single, but Red Sox only send 3 to the plate in the fourth. Later in today's game. Those taste greatness moment last night was an 8-run 6th inning. Jeff Francoeur had an RBI double and a run scored in that inning. A 2-hit game for Francoeur last night. This afternoon against John Lester, he is 0 for 1. Royals have had 4 base runners in the first 3 innings, but no hits. Lester has walked 3, and Jed Lowry has committed an error at third base. 1-1. Ball, 2 strikes. Royals have a day off tomorrow and then begin a grueling stretch of games away from Kauffman Stadium. The Royals have a 10-game road trip, which includes a makeup game in Detroit. There was a rainout back in May in Detroit. Then the Royals come home for only 3, and then they hit the road again for 7 more days. So 17 out of the next 20 are away from Kauffman Stadium. Now the Red Sox are wrapping up a similar stretch. They are playing 14 out of 17 away from Boston. This is game number 13 in that stretch for Terry Francona's team. They will go to Texas for a 4-game series after today's game in Kansas City. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Francoeur. Giavotella on deck, and then Perez. Cut fastball down and in, and that's John Lester's 3rd strikeout. Coming up on September 2nd, that's that short homestand. Friday will be another Fireworks Friday and Buck Night. Royals and Indians at 7:10. You can purchase hot dogs, small Pepsi products, and peanuts for just $1 each. And be sure to stay after the game for a great fireworks show presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Giavotella popped out to second in the 2nd inning. One hop to Lowry. 2 down in the 4th. Pepsi Max is giving fans the opportunity to build their own Field of Dreams team. You can win a chance to play ball with some of the game's greatest. Visit MLB.com/Pepsi Max for details. And remember, if you build it, they will come. Pepsi Max. Big Salvador Perez fan behind home plate. One and one.
Gotta have some good zoom.
Perez reached on Jed Lowry's error in the 2nd inning. And in the end, no harm done, with the exception of if Lowry makes that play, Lester throws 11 fewer pitches in the inning, so almost the equivalent of 1 inning, depending on how efficient he is. Still 1 and 2.
Well, the one pitch he's really got working is that cutter. That cutter's biting hard down in the end.
Two and two. Most of the time when a left-hand pitcher with a good cutter is on, that means it's a busy day for the left side of the infield. You can have a lineup stacked with right-hand hitters, and if he's making his pitches, a lot of ground balls hit to the left side. Perez really trying to go the other way and stay back on him. It's still 2 and 2.
His cutter is a little bit different than a lot of cutters. His cutter is a little different than Mark Burley's cutter. Mark Burley's cutter just sort of goes sideways right into the right-handed hitter and jamming, where Lester's cutter really acts like a real hard slider. It goes down underneath the swing of the right-handed hitter, where Burley works more up.
And a broken bat base hit, and that's the Royals' first. Almost identical to the hit that Ryan Lavarnway got against Duffy in the 2nd.
Lester just make the pitch you want to make, but sometimes you still don't win in that situation. Another fastball right there, right around the trademark, and usually bats just don't shatter in that area very often. That goes right in half. One bat lead. Salvador Perez, a big, strong guy, able to get it out in the outfield for a base hit.
Runner at first, 2 down to Mike Moustakas. Perez, a big threat to run, so Lester wants to keep him close.
He's probably trying to get over that base hit. He's not ready to throw the ball to the plate yet. And he doesn't have the best move to first base. You know, he doesn't really want to throw the ball hard over there. He kind of lobs it over there when he goes over there.
to Moustakas. He was on with a walk in the second inning. Grounded up the middle. Scudero will feed Pedroia, and that's the inning. 4 innings played, still no score.
He's looking really good. I tell you, the one thing we noticed about him early was that he was just going to establish his fastball, and that's what he's been throwing mainly. Not many breaking balls in there at all. So he's going to go with his fastball until the Red Sox show him he needs to make a change.
Only 2 hits in those 4 innings and 1 walk. Red Sox have not advanced a runner to second base in the first 4 innings. Jed Lowry takes outside. It's a carsoup.com email the booth day, and let's get some of your emails from Joel.
And just on the spot right now, the computer is freezing up, so I'll ask you a question that was passed on by a couple people to me. Frank, everybody wants to know what happened to that spray freeze.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why trainers don't use it anymore. That's might be a good question for Nick Kinney when we get to talk to him tomorrow, probably on the plane. But it used to help a lot, I tell you. You foul a ball off your ankle, and they come out there and they freeze it, and the pain goes away, and you just continue to play. But today, everything's more natural today. So you got to feel that natural pain, and you got to walk it off, and get the blood flow through there, and keep playing.
Infield single for Jed Lowry. Yeah, I think that stuff was burning a hole in the ozone layer.
So it's safe to say Nick will not be able to bring that on the plane tomorrow.
I would say he probably doesn't have any at all.
No.
It was a suspicious looking device too, so I don't know if he'd be able to get that on the airplane. Silver canister looking thing with
had a little
nozzle on the top.
Nozzle on it, and it just spray right
like
in
a
there.
pipe bomb.
Anyway, Bill Barger in Wichita would like to know a question that we get asked all the time. Guys like Alex Gordon and, of course, George Brett did it batting left-handed, fielding right-handed. How come so many have been raised that way? How does it happen, guys?
Well, I think most dads want their hitters to be left-handed because you see more right-handed pitching, and if you can make them switch hitters, that's even better. The only disadvantage of being left-handed is that you don't have as many positions to play. But if you throw right-handed and you can hit left-handed, the advantages are enormous to you.
And we pointed out earlier this year, very rare now and then we see the opposite, like Ricky Henderson or Ryan Ludwig when we saw him in San Diego, of guys that bat right and throw left, but that's pretty uncommon.
1-1 on Ryan Lavarnway. He singled his first time against Danny Duffy, and Danny's ahead now, 1-2.
Easiest question Frank will answer all year. Stuart Haas in Salina wants to know if Frank agrees with me that he should have won another Gold Glove in his last year. One's come up a couple times, huh, Frank?
That's come up a lot. I would say yeah, I should have.
I'd say all the fans thought so too.
And that would be the only time that was really the only time I expected to win one too, Joel, and didn't win it. The rest of them I just let it kind of happen.
Harold Reynolds won it that year, right?
Well, that's why he's where he's at now.
What's that supposed to mean? He's a big-time broadcaster.
I got him to start.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I tell him that every time I see him anyway.
Hosmer never really got a great read on it. He was running to the spot where he thought it was going to land and then had to adjust.
Well, this is probably the first one we've seen all year that didn't actually go in his glove, and you always say run to where it goes up, and it comes down somewhere differently. But on a short one like that, you really don't have a lot of choices. But if it's high enough, you want to let it get up as high as it'll go, then you position yourself on the way down. But that's a good effort by a first baseman. A lot of first basemen are not even that close on a pop-up.
You tell Harold Reynolds that you got a big 20 hanging up here on the Hall of Fame building.
Now, why should you have won that year? What was your most impressive statistic aside from your great range and good hair?
My most well, that was good then too. But my most impressive statistic that year was that I never missed a ground ball.
No errors on a ground ball?
No errors on a ground ball.
The whole year?
The whole year.
Wow.
I made 4 errors. There were 4 thrown errors to 4 different first basemen. And I was in 150 games that year.
Huh.
Billy Buckner said, I play with a lot of guys, but I never played with anybody who never missed a ball.
Jeff Francoeur running to the wall, and it's out of play. To be completely accurate, Joel, Frank did win a Gold Glove that year.
He did.
Right? Did the fans come up with a Gold Glove for you?
Yeah, the fans were really upset about that, because I would have been the first second baseman to win 9 Gold Gloves, and they were looking forward to it as I was, and so they presented me their version of a 9th Gold Glove, which was actually much prettier than the ones we got from the Rawlings Glove Company.
Joel, it's that Northwest media bias.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time we see Harold, we'll see if he'll give it back. Isn't the 9th one the fan one in the Royals Hall of Fame, Frank?
I don't. Do they have a 9th one there?
No, the one that the fans gave you.
I don't know if it's there.
I thought it was. I don't know.
This is like an episode of Cold Case. You know, when you go over an old file and you try and figure out what went wrong years ago. Kevin Shank just told me that Harold Reynolds was 9th in fielding percentage that year.
I think he made 17 errors this year.
17 errors. Another foul ball from Lavarnway into the seats off the right field line.
I was an older player then, and maybe the managers and coaches around the league just couldn't believe what they were seeing at that particular time.
Or maybe they
Is that your horn you're tooting up here in the booth, Frank?
Doc, pat me on the back.
Honk, honk.
Maybe they just knew that you were never going to miss those ground balls, so they stopped watching. All right, Ryan, I got one for you.
You do?
Does not have to do with Gold Gloves.
Okay. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
David Trineri sent me in an email here asking how come it's never on a wild pitch or a pass ball. It's not ruled an error on the pitcher or the catcher. And of course, I was explaining that you could have an unearned run on a pass ball, but I was kind of thinking maybe it's because the ball's not put in play. But, you know, he made a good point back in an email saying when the pitcher throws the ball away at first base on, you know, trying to pick off a guy, that would be an error. So how come never an error? Other than it's in the rule book.
Melky makes a play in right center field. Well, It's a good question. I mean, there are some rules that don't make sense to me, and more so than why it's not an error, but why it goes down as an earned run and not an unearned run. When the pitcher delivers the ball, the pitcher then becomes a fielder when the hitter puts the ball in play, but I guess he is not a fielder if the hitter does not put the ball in play and it skips past the catcher. So that's why it's still on his shoulders, charged with a wild pitch, and therefore it's an earned run. If it's a pass ball, it's not his fault. It was the catcher's fault. Here's another one I've never understood. If there is a runner at third base and a hitter bunts and the runner scores, is he charged with an official at bat? No. If there is a runner at third and he swings the bat and hits a fly ball and the runner scores from third, is that an official at bat? No. If there's a runner at third and the hitter swings and hits a ground ball and the runner scores from third, why is that then an official at bat? Right. When you make an out, a run scores, why can you do it with a fly ball and you can't do it with a ground ball?
Because they want to call the fly ball a sacrifice, and they want to call if you bunt it, they want to call that a sacrifice.
Well, why can't it be a sacrifice ground ball like it is a sacrifice fly or a sacrifice bunt?
And we always talk all the time about, no outs, just trying to be unselfish and advancing a runner and hitting it to the right side. Ground ball. Aren't you sacrificing yourself?
Yeah. If you bunt, it's a sacrifice. If you swing, and it's clear that that's what you're doing, you're giving yourself up, and it's an out, then it's a charged at bat.
Well, that's true, and you get those guys too that are bunting for a base hit, and
that's never called.
And it's clearly they're bunting for a base hit, and just because they bunted the ball, even though they're out at first, they credit them with a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's very clear in the rule book. If a hitter is attempting to bunt for a base hit, he should not get a sacrifice. It has to be clear that he is sacrificing himself and giving up an out. But there are hardly any official scores that will, even if a runner moves up, charge the hitter with a time at bat.
Does that count as an at bat?
Yes. Crawford is out, 2 away.
We have a question about Greg Holland. We touched on it with the sprint poll, but going into next season, Jared Leda wants to know, will the Royals try to make Greg Holland / Aaron Crow starters? And 57% of the fans voting in the sprint poll believe that they should not do that with Greg Holland. And I think we all agree with that. How about Aaron Crow, guys?
Well, Joel, that's a tough one, too. Because he's pretty max effort, even though he was a starter. I think that he made his mark and coming out of spring training out of the bullpen, which he was able to maximize his velocity, his slider. I think he's got the pitches to do it, but I see him more on the max effort side also, and more of the 2 to 3 inning type pitcher versus an actual starter.
I think it comes down, Joel, to how good of a starter you think he's going to be. Because do you want to take a guy, and I know he's going through a tough stretch now, do you want to take a guy who has the potential of being a great reliever and make him an okay starter? I mean, I'll vote for great every time you can have great. But if the Royals think he has a chance to be a very good starter, then yeah, there's more of a need for starters at the time. But if he's not as effective as a starter as he is as a reliever, then I would say leave him in the bullpen. I mean, he was an all-star in his rookie year. Jason Varitek fouled out to first in the 3rd inning. Nice play by Eric Hosmer, and now he's down 1-2.
Got a quick question from Erin Goodwin in Kansas City, who wants to ask about, she says, I've always wondered why the front of Gordon and Cabrera's helmets look like they've been burnt. Luck? No pine tar.
All pine tar mixed with dirt, and you fill in your helmet with your hand between pitches, and that's just accumulation of the whole season right there.
Into right center field. There is nobody there. So the scoreless tie comes to an end, and Jason Varitek is going to go for 3. This is probably one of the only places in the league where he can do that with a ball hit to more straightaway right than right center. And the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead.
Well, Danny hangs a curveball right here, and Veritek hits it the way it's going. Should take that curveball and hit it the opposite way. That's what he does right here. Francoeur's not playing too deep in right field, and this ball gets deep in the right center field and goes all the way to the wall. So that's one of the things that you see right away in this ballpark is that when the ball gets past the outfielders and if they're playing shallow, it's a long way to chase that ball down. And Jason Veritek was able to get to third base with a triple.
That's Veritek's first triple since '07.
Giavatelli makes a throw into Moustakas, but well behind Jason Veritek sliding into third.
Guys had a question from Michael Messerly in Omaha asking, does a crew chief of an umpiring crew have more authority than the other umps on his crew? And the answer on that is no, but they have what's called crew chief responsibilities, which would be rain delays and intervening during arguments and that type of stuff. But they don't have any more authority than any other ump on the field as far as making calls.
That's a good question, Joel, because any umpire can overrule one of the other umpires on the crew. So if one umpire misses a call and one of the other ones sees a different angle, it doesn't have to be the crew chief. It can be any other umpire, if called upon, to overrule an original call.
And by overrule, I mean it's still the initial umpire's call to make, but any one of those other guys can go out there and say, look, I saw it differently, and then the guy that makes the original call say, okay, if you got it, let's go with it. But they can't just say, no, you're wrong, it's changed. They're going to have that discussion, which we see so often.
And that's Tim Welke right there, who's at second base today. He is the chief of this crew.
A lot of times crew chiefs kind of restore order. You know, you get a manager out there arguing with one of the other umpires, and if he feels like it's getting out of hand, then he's the one that goes in and try to keep things moving and get the game back to the game and just basically just restore order on the field.
He's also asked if the umpiring crews change based on a homestand. No, they change every series in baseball.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Jed Lowry reaching on an infield single, and with 2 outs, Jason Veritek triples him home. And with that, the Red Sox get 1 in the top of the 5th inning. Thank you, Joel. And we will take a look at today's AT&T trivia question. We've been talking about Greg Holland's great season. His ERA is at 1.55. Who holds the Royals record for the lowest single season ERA by a relief pitcher, and that's with a minimum of 40 innings. Maybe it's Greg Holland.
It could be. I'll take a wild guess. I'll say Zach Greinke.
So you're talking about 2007, right? That was a year when he pitched mostly out of the bullpen and then finished up as a starter. 2008, full-time starter. 2009 Cy Young winner. Alcides Escobar, then Alex Gordon and Melky Cabrera against John Lester in the bottom of the 5th. Escobar with the bases loaded against Lester in the 2nd, grounded back to the mound. Lester had walked 2. Another runner reached on an error. Lowry on 1 hop, so there's another ground ball to the left side. 1 away. Join the fiesta Saturday, September 3rd. The Royals take on Cleveland at 6:10. The first 20,000 fans receive a Joaquim Soria bobblehead presented by Mission Foods. Before the game begins, explore the outfield experience with pre-game festivities, a salsa tasting competition with some of KC's best local Mexican restaurants, and live music from MRM. Lowry busy in the inning, makes the play in foul territory, fighting the sun. It's been a tough day for Alex. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, and now a pop-up. Jason Varitek and Jim Reynolds having a little discussion after that pop-up from Alex Gordon. Maybe going over Jim Reynolds' strike zone. John Lester was upset about a walk in the 3rd inning, and Varitek was playing the middleman, trying to calm down John Lester and make sure that Jim Reynolds wasn't going to become frustrated with Lester and the Red Sox. Melky is grounded to 3rd, popped to 3rd, and just 1 for 14 in this series. Lester stays away from him. 2-0. Cutter got the outside. 2-1. Two and two. If a fan just walked into the stadium right now and looked up at the scoreboard, Varitek and Reynolds are still discussing something. And if the fan knew something about the history of John Lester versus the Royals, they would say, well, there's Lester doing it again. He's given up 1 hit in 4 2/3 innings. But it has not been an easy 4 2/3 innings. He has walked 3. The Red Sox have committed an error behind him. He's had a 28 pitch inning. That's when the Royals left the bases loaded in the 2nd. Still 3-2. This is a pitcher who already had a 1.28 career ERA against the Royals, and a no-hitter at Fenway Park in 2008. be Reddick in right field. Today, John Lester has pitched 5 scoreless innings. For the lowest single season ERA by a relief pitcher, Frankie is in the house.
Oh. Then I would say Joel's partner, Jeff Montgomery.
Look at that, 1.37. Head away, Monty. Monty's up there telling everybody in the press box about that year. Also throws a pretty good knuckleball. That wasn't one of them. There's producer Kevin Schenk as the catcher yesterday. Scudero lines out to Moustakas. So Monty has the lowest ERA than Mark Littell. Greg Holland, if he were to finish at this number, would be third, and then Joaquim Soria and Lewis Coleman. So 2 on the list if things were to finish this way.
High hopes, high hopes.
McDonald has singled and flied to center. No balls, 2 strikes. So a good so far for Danny Duffy, allowing 1 run, 4 hits. Remember, in Boston on July 26th, he wasn't able to go 4 innings. Gave up 6 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks in 3 2/3. And McDonald jolts it into deep left center field, and it is gone. On an 0-2 pitch. Man, how many big hits have we seen in this series? Both sides with the count 0-2.
Yeah, right. You talk about 0-2 mistakes, and you take a look at Danny Duffy after this ball's hit. I mean, he realizes he made a huge mistake right there with pitch location more than anything else, and that's where the concentration comes in. You're ahead of the hitter. You got a chance to waste a pitch, and you want to go ahead and try to waste to get him to chase something. That fastball is right out over the plate. Too good a swing, 0-2.
Danny has had some trouble with the long ball this year, but he was actually on a nice little run before McDonald's home run. He had allowed only 2 home runs in his previous 40 innings.
So you can see right there where that pitch is. I mean, that's right in his wheelhouse right there. It's not where he wanted it, but just where it went.
13 home runs given up by Danny Duffy, and half of those, more than half of those, 7, have come when the hitter has had 2 strikes on him. And that's something a lot of young pitchers learn about in the big leagues, is that in the minor leagues, when you jump ahead of most hitters, they get into a very defensive mode and they become an out. But in the big leagues, there's a difference between getting ahead of a hitter and putting away a hitter.
And putting him away, getting him to 2 strikes and having something that you can get him out with. And you know, going forward, you know, Danny, as he progresses in his career, is going to get better in those situations. You just, you know, unfortunately in this game, you make mistakes, you pay for them, and then you learn from them, and you just eliminate them or at least minimize them as you go forward in your career.
Gonzalez walks after the home run. And that's Duffy's second walk. On Sunday, September 18th, grab your furry best friend and head to Kauffman Stadium for Bark at the K. Packages include a human and canine ticket, a doggy toy courtesy of Bayer Healthcare Animal Health. There will be vendors, a post-game parade with your dog, and on-site pet adoptions. For tickets, go to royals.com/bark. So Danny Duffy, after 4 scoreless innings, allows a run in the 5th and a home run with nobody on in the 6th. And with Adrian Gonzalez at first base, now Duffy faces Dustin Pedroia. Oh for 2 so far. He was 2 out of 2 against Duffy in Boston with a double and a triple. Good pitch over the outside, 0-1. Perez blocks another one. I guess that would be 50. 1-1.
I mean, he not only blocks these pitchers in the dirt. There you got a change up, and he just blocks it in front of him. Now he's up. I mean, he's up and after the ball in no time. So he's a big man, but he's quick with his feet.
One and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Pedroia was 5 out of 10 in the first 3 games, with a couple of intentional walks when the Royals elected to pitch around him, and 3 RBIs. This is his 11th game of the year, batting 4th. Not built like a number 4 hitter, but he can get the job done as a number 4 hitter. Batting around 370 when the Red Sox bat him 4th, with 8 RBIs in those previous 10 games. You could put him anywhere in the lineup.
Anywhere. He knows the responsibilities of each position in the lineup.
Left field, and Alex has to find it in the glare, and he does. Gonzalez hustles back to first, 2 outs. No day tomorrow. The Royals will be traveling to Toronto, and a 3-game series begins with the Blue Jays on Tuesday night. 6:05 first pitch. Ivy Royals Live begins at 5:30. That'll be Bruce Chen against Brandon Morrow. And we get to see what Mark Teahan looks like in a Blue Jays uniform. Teahan has dual citizenship. His father is from Canada. Teahan has played in the World Baseball Classic for Team Canada. Into left, and now Alex comes up. Jed Lowry is out. So are the Red Sox, but they add a run on McDonald's home run.
Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Jessica Smidge from Kansas City, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Jessica will win $900. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jessica will win $25 grand from Sonic Royals.
Billy Butler, Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur in the bottom of the 6th. Royals have one hit against John Lester, and it's a broken bat base hit by Salvador Perez in the 4th. Lester no hit, 3 2/3 innings. Billy has walked and flied out to center. Two 2-0. John Lester has had 90 pitches, so his line is impressive at the moment as far as runs and hits, but he's had to throw a lot of pitches. Billy hits it well. Reddick fades back and makes a play. You figure Lester is not going to be around for much longer, 6, maybe 7 innings. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White and Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium, with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is TJ McGinnis. One ball and one strike to Eric Hosmer, who has walked and grounded out to first. 2-1. Off the plate and foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As good as John Lester has been against the Royals, he has never won here at Fenway, and these numbers are amazing. He's 4-0 against the Royals at Fenway Park with a 0.48 ERA, but he is 0-1 at Kauffman Stadium, taking a loss back in 06. High in the air, and Lowry had no play. It lands on the roof of the dugout suite, and it's still 2-2. Mentioned earlier that Lester pitching quite well when he came into today. Won his last start, gave up 1 run, 3 hits in 7 innings on Tuesday to Tampa Bay. He's gone 7 innings or more in 3 of his last 4 starts. He has allowed 3 earned runs or less in 10 of his last 11 starts. But this is about as big a grind as you'll see for a 1-hit shutout so far, as he gets Hosmer on the ground ball to first. But I guess that speaks volumes about John Lester. I mean, it's one thing to have a 1-hit shutout and you've got your A game. This is more of an effort for him today.
Well, you've seen more of the fastball command really has been the pitch, I think, that really frustrates him most today. The cutter has been the pitch of choice, and an occasional curveball. But I think the guy like John Lester always has a go-to pitch, and right now the cutter is the pitch that's getting him through the ball game.
And there's a cutter that started away, catches the outside. The pitch that's given right-hand batters the most trouble is the cutter that starts down the middle and then breaks in on the hands. Francoeur fouls it back, 0-2. On the ground to Lowry. So it's 6 scoreless innings for John Lester, allowing just 1 hit. Our Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment.
Oh, yeah, Ryan, you got to go all the way back to July 31st in Cleveland when Danny Duffy allowed only 2 runs. So this is definitely a big game for him tonight. This afternoon he came out and really challenged with his fastball and really pitched aggressively. And the only two mistakes he made was a hanging curveball to Jason Varitek and a McDonald. And that's the difference in the ball game right now.
So Chevy called to the bullpen, and Aaron Crow is on in the 7th. And Aaron will face the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Aaron pitched on Thursday night, game 1 with the Red Sox, and retired Ryan Lavarnway, Jason Varitek, and Mike Aviles. In this inning, it's Lavarnway, Crawford, and Varitek. Good curveball, and it's 0-2. If Aaron Crow is part of the Royals' plans for the starting rotation next year, and if Danny Duffy is coming up on his limit for innings, wonder if the Royals might give Aaron Crow a start or 2 or 3 before the season's over.
I mean, it's just worth a look for sure. I think basically it's all about stamina. You get stressed out. You feel like you can get through the games, minimizing pitches. That's always a key to being a starter. And it's all about command. I mean, having enough pitches to start and having the ability to command those pitches over a long period of time. And this is what we really like about Aaron Crow right here. With 2 strikes, he's got somewhere to go. I mean, he's got a hard slider and got that check swing right there, and that's after having one on the plate, and which he can get you a strikeout on the plate with a slider, and then he was able to get you off the plate with that one.
And called a strike to Carl Crawford. He has struck out and grounded out today, and just 5 out of 27 this year against the Royals. That breaking ball got away from Aaron Crow. To right center field, and Carl Crawford puts it into the second deck of the party porch for his 8th home run of the year.
Aaron Crow leaves a fastball up out over the plate. Carl Crawford really hadn't been swinging the bat great all year, but in this series, the last couple of games, he's starting to heat up a little bit. He drives this ball deep in the right center field.
Sixth home run allowed by Aaron Crow, and now he misses low to Jason Varitek, who broke the scoreless tie in the 5th inning with 2 outs. He tripled, his first triple since 2007. That scored Jed Lowry. Now Boston has scored in 3 straight innings. Darnell McDonald homered in the 6th, and now Carl Crawford in this inning. And now it's 1-1 to Varitek. A 416-foot home run for Carl Crawford in this inning against Crow. 1-2. And follows up the home run with a strikeout. So 2 in the inning for Crow. He's gotten Lavarnway and Varitek. 2 down.
It's real good bite. I mean, this is what the difference in Aaron Crow right here is he's got a put-away pitch, and you look at this curveball that goes down hard, and got himself another strikeout in this inning.
There's the breaking ball in for a strike to Josh Reddick 0 for 2 against Danny Duffy today. And a soft liner to Moustakas ends the inning. Red Sox add a run. It is stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Boston leads 3-0 in the fourth and final game of this series, and now Panera takes us around the American League. Detroit in front of Cleveland again, trying to extend their lead to 4.5 in the Central. Seattle and Tampa Bay are tied at 7. Chicago in front of Texas 7-0. White Sox 5 games back in the Central. Texas leads the West by 5. New York in front of Minnesota. Yankees trying to take 3 out of 4 from the Twins. They have a half-game lead over the Red Sox. The Angels have won 3 in a row. Baltimore has lost 4 straight. 2-0 Angels in the third. And Toronto at Oakland, they are just getting underway. John Lester trying to go 7 innings today with a 3-0 lead. He's only given up 1 hit. Slugger's Blue Crew package is now half price, and for just $10, your package includes a powder blue batting practice jersey, a Royals cap, 2 Royals game ticket vouchers, and much more, presented by U.S. Toy. Visit Royals.com/Blue Crew to order your child's Blue Crew package today. A lot of members of the Royals Blue Crew out here today, redeeming those ticket vouchers. That young lady's got a good seat right behind home plate with a sparkling hat on a bright sunny day in Kansas City. Royals have 1 hit in 6 innings so far against John Lester. It has not been an easy day for Lester, and he really labored through the first 3 innings, but now in his last 3 innings he has retired 10 of the last 11, going back to the final out in the third. Giavotella up the right field line, and that is a fair ball into the corner, rolling away from Reddick, and it should be an easy triple for Giavotella. He is in standing. Runner at third, nobody out.
Yeah, big hit, Giavotella right here. Fastball away from him. He goes that way with that nice short swing and is able to keep the ball fair down in the corner. Gets it by Reddick. He tries to cut it off, but realizes he can, and that was the difference right there between a double and a triple. And you see Giavotella, tell you know he's not even thinking about stopping at second base.
Strike two, Salvador Perez. First time the Royals have gotten a runner past first since the second inning. Perez reached on an error in the second, singled in the fourth. That was the only hit for the Royals before Giovatella's triple. 104 pitches for John Lester. Franklin Morales, the lefty, and Daniel Bard, the right-hander, throwing behind him. Lester goes about 105 pitches per start. And in his last start against Tampa Bay on Tuesday, he threw 113 pitches. Blocked by Varitek, and it's 1-2. A single for Perez put an end to an 0 for 12, and it was a good pitch by Lester. Got it in on his hands and broke Perez's bat in half, but Salvador able to muscle it into left center. 2-2. Lester has gone 7 innings or more in 3 of his last 4 starts. And the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2, and now either Lester tweaked something with that last pitch or just turning away in frustration.
I think he's probably just frustrated. He can, you know, a guy with his credentials always rely on command, and when he can't really make that adjustment, and like I say, the fastball's been the pitch today that he really just hasn't been able to put it where he wanted, and the cutter has always been the most reliable pitch.
Still 3-2. Walks. So a triple and a walk, and now the tying run comes to the plate with nobody out. And Perez coming back after falling behind 0-2. And for the moment, Terry Francona is going to stay in the dugout, especially with the left-hander against left-hander matchup. Lester and Mike Moustakas. That was the 4th walk given up by John Lester today. Moustakas walked in the 2nd inning and then grounded out in the 4th. Blocked by Varitek, and he went a long way to get to that one.
This is a curveball that really got over into the right-hand batter's box, and Jason Varitek knew the pitch he called and knew exactly where he wanted it to be, and all you got to do is be ready to slide out there and block it.
Called a strike, 1-1. 111 pitches. And a curveball's in there, 1-2. Well, here's where you go back to that error in the 2nd inning, and remember, it didn't result in any runs. Lowry's error on a ground ball from Perez, but 2 more hitters came to the plate, 11 more pitches, and now minus those 11 pitches. Lester is grinding, trying to get through 7 innings. And Moustakas strokes it into right field to break up the shutout. And now the tying run is on with nobody out.
A cutter that John Lester left up in the middle of the plate, and Mike Moustakas jumped all over it. It's all about location. He hits a bullet in the right field and scored Giabatella. As you can see, Johnny comes in and scores on that base hit.
So John Lester is out, Daniel Bard is in, and a Chevy call to the bullpen. And he just drove in a run. He represents the tying run at first with nobody out as Daniel Bard comes on to face Alcides Escobar. Second appearance for Bard in this series. Only allowing a 169 opponent's batting average and has 59 strikeouts and only 15 walks in 58 innings.
This looks like a bunt situation for the Royals here with runners at first and second. Alcides Escobar at the plate and no outs. The Red Sox are in on the corners with Lowry and Gonzalez.
Escobar's been a dependable bunter for the Royals this year. Almost took one off the chin. 14 sacrifice bunts, third in the league. And he has a couple of sacrifice bunts in the series.
And a pitcher throws as hard as Bard does. You just got to make sure he gets the ball down. Anything borderline fastball at that speed, if you don't get above it, then you have a tendency to really either bunt it too hard or pop it up.
And he fouls it away. I got to think there's a bit of an after effect after the first pitch. One goes sailing by his nose. Bard pitched on Thursday and was credited with a hold. That's the equivalent of a save except for a middle reliever. His 29th hold, which leads the league. And fouled away again by Escobar.
Take a look at it from this angle here against Josh Bard, and what you pay attention to right here is the ball moving in on him and really just never really got on top of that ball, and that's what you have to do. Is you got to keep it out in the middle of the field and not try to get it down the line when it's moving in on you that way, because you want to make sure you keep the ball fair if any nothing else.
This is Escobar's first at bat against Daniel Bard. Just got done telling you how good he's been this year overall, but I wouldn't want to be a right-hander digging in against him. 119.
He's got a lot of movement on his fastball.
And a slider, and Baratek jumping out of his crouch, thinking that was going to be strike 3. 2-2.
Well, this is a hard slider here, and I tell you, this is one pitch that Alcides doesn't want to take again. Now, it's really too close to take it, too close to put on the umpire. You got to make sure you try to put that ball in play.
Good swing. Tough to get around on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Escobar wasn't able to square it up, but timed it perfectly with a foul straight back. Didn't wake that guy up, though.
Well, Daniel Bard's got such a hard fastball and hard slider that sometimes that hard slider, if you throw it somewhere in the middle of the plate, it can freeze a right-hander.
That slider actually hung. Alcides would probably like to have that pitch back. That's not Bard's best pitch. After 2 failed run attempts, Escobar's down on strikes.
It's just real tight. It's up, but it had enough movement on it to take it away from Alcides' bat hit. You can see, Ryan, it is a hanger, but that late movement and takes it right off the bat.
That brings up Alex Gordon, who has had a bad day, but a great series. Great series prior to today. And hits it hard. Left center. McDonald closes in on it. 2 down. Alex is 0 for 4 after driving in 5 with 3 doubles and a home run in the first 3 games of the series. So Daniel Bard comes on with a run just scoring against John Lester. First and second, nobody out. He has gotten Escobar and Gordon. And now first and second, 2 away to Melky Cabrera. Inside at 97. Melky grounded out to short against Daniel Bard on Thursday, and he's now 1 for 2 against him. Tuno. Royals were clutch last night, winning 9-4, and they scored 6 of their 9 runs with 2 outs.
So Daniel Bard falling behind Melky Cabrera 2-0. This makes him that much of a better hitter now. He can really look fastball and look to do something with it.
And he fouls it away. 99 on the radar gun. And a foul ball that ended up back on the field. Well, if you're going to take a nap, I mean, it's a nice Sunday afternoon. You're outside in the sun.
You got a comfortable seat.
Yeah.
You're behind the screen, and you can only get hurt one way.
A little ambient noise
from above.
Yep. Melky chops it to short. Scutaro underhands to Pedroia. Daniel Bard does a great job to get the Red Sox out of the 7th. Royals on the scoreboard. And now it's Lewis Coleman for the 8th inning. And there was nothing wrong with Lewis Coleman's first half. 1 tick above 2 with his ERA, but in the second half, his ERA is 1. That's the lowest in the American League since the All-Star break. And that's a good sign for a young pitcher, because so many times you'll see a pitcher or a player, a rookie, have a good first half. The real test is the second half, when the league has an idea of the players or pitchers' tendencies.
Well, he made some adjustments from the first half. It was mainly fastball, hard slider, and the second time around he really learned how to throw a little bit softer slider and more of a get-me-over slider, and that really helped him a lot.
Top of the order for Boston, beginning with Marco Scutaro. One ball and 1 strike.
Now, Lewis Coleman does have a changeup. You see it occasionally, but just being able to vary the speeds of that slider of his has really helped him a lot.
Two and 1. Royals got 6 innings from Danny Duffy. He gave up 2 runs. Aaron Crow allowed a run in the 7th. Red Sox have hit 2 solo home runs. Darnell McDonald and Carl Crawford, and Jason Varitek as an RBI triple. Look out. Oh. Nice grab by a fan as that bat went skipping across the top of the dugout. I just hope it didn't get anybody else on the way. Net? I don't know.
Fan safety is really important. I really believe that net should go all the way down beyond third and first base.
Pass Moustakas and down into the corner. And Scutaro at second base with a leadoff double.
Take a look at this pitch here. This is just a changeup up. It stayed inside, and he was able to get it down inside. He doesn't throw it very often, but just inside the line, just by Moustakas down the line. Alex does a good job getting over and getting the throw off, but Scutaro runs pretty good. He's able to get into second base with a double.
And now McDonald, who homered his last time, trying to drop down a bunt and get Scutaro over to third. McDonald's home run came on an 0-2 pitch. His 5th of the year. He has a 2-hit game. Was batting just .175 to begin the game. Throw down to second base, and Scutaro able to get back in.
Yeah, good timing play between Alcides Escobar and Salvador Perez. I mean, that's no hesitation, and it's a planned play.
Could hear Jim Reynolds saying yes he did, meaning McDonald didn't make contact, but he offered at the pitch. So fouling one bunt away, now missing a bunt. Cardinals are not convinced that McDonald will be swinging here. Hosmer and Moustakas are still in on the corners. Not all the way in, but prepared just in case. Not bunting. And he hits a fly ball into shallow center, and it will drop, so McDonald gets the job done anyway. First and third, nobody out.
Yeah, a real good pitch by Lewis Coleman there. McDonald got it right on the end of the bat and looped it out in the outfield, but you know, nothing wrong with the pitch. Nice breaking ball out front. Took a little bit off of that one. Just dumped it right in front of Cabrera in center field.
That would be a cap tipper. And now Adrian Gonzalez. You're talking about Coleman's changeup. And, you know, most guys, Frank, who throw from an angle like this are good against righties, as Coleman is, but have difficulty with lefties. Coleman does not. Figure a left-hander is going to see it all the way. And I was asking Bob McClure about that. I even asked Kevin Seitzer about it, you know, being a hitting coach, and both said the same thing. His ability to stay away from a left-hand batter with his breaking ball coming in through the back door, meaning starting as a ball, finishing as a strike, and that changeup, as opposed to a lot of sidearm guys, when they come in like this, their pitches come into the left-hand hitter and just away from a righty but into a lefty. But I think that's very rare for a pitcher of his style to be as good against lefties as he is righties.
I agree. When you look at their delivery too, you always wonder, can he get the ball to the extension side of the plate to right-handers, which is away. And if he can't, a lot of times they'll get hit because the ball will run back into the middle of the plate. But he's been able to keep the ball out there, not only with his fastball, but also with his breaking balls too. So you're right, he's very rare.
I mean, we've seen guys like Lewis Coleman year after year that they'll get the righties, but as soon as somebody like Adrian Gonzalez comes to the plate, then you got to bring in the lefty.
But being able to backdoor that slider, the two different speeds on that slider, and the changeup is always there. But I think it's mainly in his fastball sneaky too from down there, because there's an angle that guys aren't used to seeing the fastball thrown from.
Now that pitch caught the middle of the plate, and Gonzalez drives in a run. Boston gets the run back. McDonald goes first to third. So that's not what Coleman has been doing all year against lefties. And you can't make a mistake to that guy.
Adrian Gonzalez, you know, leads the American League in hitting for a reason, and when a pitcher makes a mistake up out over the plate, and this is what he does. He gets a line drive to left field, he drives in runs, and McDonald was able to score easily. I'm sorry, Scudero scored easily on that base hit.
Still nobody out. And ball one to Dustin Pedroia. 0 for 3 so far today. That's a strike, 1-1. Two balls and one strike. Big play in the inning right now. In my opinion, not the Gonzalez single or the Scudero double that started all this, but Darnell McDonald, after failing on a couple of bunt attempts, down 1 and 2, able to get a single into center field to set up first and third and nobody out. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Pedroia.
Yeah, normally when they fail to get those bunts down, good things happen for the defense, and he made a nice pitch, and he was to McDonald, and he just got him way out front, right up to the very end of the bat.
Got him. Pedroia furious with himself, and that's Coleman's first out in the inning.
Well, we talked about him getting the ball to the extension side of the plate, now to the other side of the plate, right on the corner, fastball. And this one frustrates Pedroia.
You can be part of Kansas City's 2012 All-Star team. Register now to be considered for the many 2012 All-Star Summer and All-Star Fan Fest volunteer opportunities. Apply to be a Kansas City All-Star now at allstargame.com. Going 1 to Jed Lowry. One and one. Tim Collins getting ready perhaps for Carl Crawford, who's a left-hand batter, and a couple of batters down the road. 1 and 2 from Coleman to Lowry. Two balls and 2 strikes. Into center field. Melky makes the catch. Another run will score. McDonald down from third. It's a 2-run 8th for the Red Sox. And now they have a 5-1 lead. And now runner at first, 2 down to Ryan Lavarnway. And that's hit well to left field. Ryan Lavarnway to the wall, and it hit the padding. Just missed his first major league home run. Here comes Gonzalez around third to score. Lavarnway gets his first major league extra base hit, and it is a 3-run 8th inning. And with Carl Crawford coming up, as we predicted, Ned Yost will bring in Tim Collins.
It's a fastball that ran inside of Lavarnway, and you see Alex gets back there. But he hits right on the padding and comes right back.
We know that ground rule. A rare 3-run inning for Lewis Coleman, and now Tim Collins with a runner at second, 2 down. was only one time. And today he gives up 3, still responsible for a runner at second base as Boston has a 3-run 8th, a 5-run lead, and Tim Collins replaces him to face Carl Crawford. Frank, you're just talking about the difference between the Royals' 1-run 7th and the Red Sox 3-run 8th.
Well, the biggest difference is you called on to do little things. I'll say fundamental things, which is bunt. Escobar comes up first and second, doesn't get the bunt down, he strikes out. McDonald comes up, same situation, doesn't get the bunt down, but he's able to finagle his way into a base hit to keep the inning alive.
Carl Crawford homered in his last at bat. That was against Aaron Crow in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3. Two and 0.
When we talk about fundamentals, and especially the bunting aspect of fundamentals, you got one team who a key bunt would have got them right back in the game because they're in the second, hopefully have second and third, 1 run already in, down by 2, and you got a team that's up by 2 that's trying to get more and add on. So both bunts are very significant for both teams.
In the Royals' 7th, Giavotella doubled. Perez walked. And then Mike Moustakas singled in a run, so a run home, first and second, nobody out. And then, as you're talking about, Frank, the bunt doesn't. Escobar doesn't get the bunt down in the 7th inning, and then Bard gets the next 2, and that inning dried up quickly. And then in this inning, Scudero doubles. McDonald can't get the bunt down, but he singles, and I feel like that's what really got the inning going. Gonzalez drives in a run with 1 out, a sac fly, and then the 2-run double from Ryan Lavarnway, and now a 5-run lead with the Royals running out of time. Crawford walks. First and second, 2 outs. Jason Varitek with an RBI triple in the 5th inning. That was the first run of the game, and it was his first triple in 4 years. Down and in, ball 1. Varitek flied out against Tim Collins on Thursday night. In Boston last month, Varitek hit a home run against Tim Collins. One and one. Nice crowd here today. 25,727. And that portion of the crowd still in the sunlight. 85 degrees and sunny at first pitch. Royals wrapping up a 7-game homestand before beginning that stretch of 17 out of 20 on the road. 1-2. Changeup struck him out. Inning is over. Boston gets 3 for a 5-run lead.
on Boulevard Royals Live. Mike Moustakas continues his hit streak. We'll be talking about that. Royals get a quality start from Danny Duffy, much needed, but it's the bullpen which has been so good lately, struggling here late this afternoon. We'll break all of that down. Ned Yost comments. We'll take your text questions and much more after the game with Jeff Montgomery on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Looking forward to that. And Rivals will be a good spot today on a warm day, comfortable day, but warm and sunny. It's be a good time of the day to get out of the sun, get a break from that. Nice shot of Kauffman Stadium from center field with almost 26,000 here today. Royals were hoping to finish this series with a win and finish the season series at 4-4 against Boston, and couple that with an even record against the Yankees. We told you early in our broadcast that the last time the Royals were even or better against both the Red Sox and the Yankees in the same year was 1993. And if the Royals were to win today, they would be the only American League team to be even or better against both the Yankees and the Red Sox. But they're running out of time. 6 outs to go, down by 5. Billy Butler, Eric Hosmer, and Jeff Francoeur facing Daniel Bard, who really bailed out John Lester in the 7th inning. A run had scored, and at that point it was 3-1 Boston, and the Royals had 2 on with nobody out, but Bard struck out Escobar, who was trying to bunt. Got Gordon on a line out to center, and Cabrera on a ground ball. Billy fouls a slider away, and it's 1-2. Last chance perhaps for Billy to extend his hitting streak to 10 games. He's flied to center, flied to right, and walked. Buckled by a slider, and down he goes.
As we talked about earlier about Daniel Bard, that slider looks like a fastball. If he throws it toward the middle of the inside to a right-handed hitter, it looks like a fastball. When you get up on it, it goes back across the plate. So that's a very good pitch for him right there to Billy Butler.
Eric Hosmer is grounded out to first twice and walked. Outside, ball 1. Red Sox are doing some scoreboard watching. They see that the Yankees are leading in Minnesota 3-0. They're in the bottom of the 8th inning. This series began between the Royals and the Red Sox with Boston down by a half game, and they're hoping to keep it that way. Off of Bard's leg, backhanded by Pedroia for the out. Bard celebrates by slapping his hand in his glove, but that hit him pretty hard. 1-4-3 for the second out.
I mean, the reaction of Bard on this ground ball there, Hoffman hits this ball hard, and the reaction of Bard and the reaction of Dustin Pedroia to this ball coming off of it is pretty phenomenal right there. I mean, just backhands this play, lets him take him right on around back to his feet, and makes a nice throw to get Hosmer at first base. So that was a sure base hit up the middle.
So still playing the game hard, Dustin Pedroia, even though he's had a disappointing day at the plate. Pedroia 0 for 4 with a strikeout on offense, but making a big play in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1-1 to Jeff Francoeur, 0 for 3 with a strikeout. That was all against John Lester, who gave up 1 run in 3 innings, or 1 run, 3 hits in 6 innings. 4 walks, able to work around that. Also had to work around an error. It was not vintage John Lester compared to what he normally does against the Royals. I mean, 1 run, 3 hits in 6 innings is pretty good, but there were a few innings where he labored to get through the inning. Slash foul by Francoeur. The barred slider, so he wasn't affected by the ground ball, and he has a scoreless 8th with 2 strikeouts. Made it a 3-1 game in the bottom of the 7th inning, and an extended, very good homestand for Mike Moustakas, our Chevy play of the game.
Well, Mike extended his hitting streak to 5 games with this base hit to bring in Johnny Giamatello with the first run of the game in the 7th inning, and he's having a great stand. He's 10 for 23 in this homestand. He's raised his average from 184 to 207.
And it'll be Joakim Soria to get some work in the top of the 9th. With Josh Reddick, Marco Scutaro, and Darnell McDonald. Soria is the 5th Royals pitcher. The Royals have a day off tomorrow. A strike to Reddick. This is Soria's first appearance in this series. He saved the final game of the Yankees series on Wednesday night, and it wasn't easy. A season high 40 pitches on Wednesday night, closing out a 5-4 win over the Yankees. Yankees loaded the bases. They cut the Royals' lead to 1. But Soria was able to strike out Jorge Posada with the bases loaded. Reddick is down, 1 away. 8 strikeouts for the Royals pitching staff today. Duffy had 3, Crow had 2, and now 1 apiece for Coleman, Collins, and Soria. And now Marco Scudero, he got that 3-run rally started last inning with a double up the line against Lewis Coleman. He scored on Adrian Gonzalez single. Darnell McDonald scored on Jed Lowry's sacrifice fly, and Adrian Gonzalez coming home on Ryan Lavarnway's double. Royals had just scored in the bottom of the 7th to make it a 3-1 game, only to see Boston get 3 in the 8th. Hosmer looking up into the sun, makes the play, one step in foul territory, 2 down. Dan Wheeler getting ready for the bottom of the 9th. And the Royals will have Giovitella, Perez, and Moustakas. A 3-hit game for Darnell McDonald, including a solo home run. But his biggest hit was after a couple of failed bunt attempts in the 8th inning when he singled, and that really got the inning going for Boston. Popped up. Giovitella calling for it. Hosmer calling for it. Hosmer's taller, so he makes the catch. And that's the inning. Wheeler on for the bottom of the 9th. Series, and their team is 3 out away from taking 3 out of 4 from the Royals. Dan Wheeler in a non-save situation will pitch the 9th. Wheeler pitched the 8th in the Royals' 9-4 win last night, and phase 4 gave up a single to Alex Gordon, and that was it. It'll be Johnny Giovitella, Salvador Perez, and Mike Moustakas in the 9th inning today. Royals were trailing 3-0 as they batted in the bottom of the 7th, and they only had one hit against John Lester. Giovitella tripled into the right field corner. That was followed by a walk to Salvador Perez and a single from Mike Moustakas, scoring Giovitella. A 3-1 game at the time. The Royals knocked John Lester out. And with 2 on and nobody out, Daniel Bard came on and retired 3 straight hitters with no further advance. Really a key inning in the game, because Boston, perhaps using that as motivation in the next half inning, came up with 3. Popped up near the Royals dugout. And Varitek to the screen, and it lands on the other side and just missed that young fellow in the gray shirt. Hey, there's some good sportsmanship.
He said you almost got creamed with it, so I'll give it to you.
The usher says, "Are you all right?" He says, "I am now." Oh, and then that young guy ends up with a ball. There's a good gesture by the Royals. Both end up with a souvenir.
That's all right.
Still 0-2 on Giavotella. Still 0-2. Through Varitek, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dan Wheeler, a former 34th round draft pick, getting to the big leagues out of Central Arizona Junior College. Drafted by the Rays, traded to the Astros, went back to Tampa Bay. His wife is Stephanie Statz, who is the daughter of Dwayne Statz, television voice of the Tampa Bay Rays, which makes going through Tampa Bay a meaningful trip. And he gets Giavotella looking. So after all that hard work and all those foul balls, Giavotella lets a hittable pitch pass by, 1 down.
A lot of times you get caught with a fastball like that, you're kind of looking for too much with 2 strikes. You know, basically just look the ball and look out over the plate and just try to put it in play. It's not really a time you want to try to guess.
And Wheeler's probably not going to get too fancy with a 5-run lead and nobody on. Perez jolts it to center. McDonald shading his eyes. 2 down in the 9th. Salvador Perez is 1 for 3. Mike Moustakas 1 for 2, a single, a walk, and an RBI. 5 for 12 in this series, 10 out of 23 on the homestand. As Frank told you, adding 23 points to his batting average, and he did that against the Yankees and the Red Sox. So we'll see on the upcoming road trip how far that will carry him. John Lester for 6, Daniel Bard for 2, and now Dan Wheeler in the 9th.
Well, you got Moustakas in the 8th spot mainly because of the slow start, but he's one of those guys that the Royals would probably like to see in that number 6 spot, possibly number 7, once he gets everything going, and that'll make this lineup a lot stronger with him swinging the bat up to his potential.
And you can understand the frustration. I mean, he has done nothing but hit his entire life, going back to high school, where he hit 52 career home runs. That's a California state record. And then in his 5th major league at bat, he hits a home run. I mean, he got off to a fast start at the big league level. Big season last year with 36 minor league home runs, 124 minor league RBIs. Mike Moustakas has never seen a batting average this low before, but at the moment is heading in the right direction.
Well, the one thing about Major League Baseball and young players, the game will humble you at some point, and you just got to battle back and give it the respect it deserves. And if you got the talent, usually things do work out for you.
Wheeler finishes the game with a strikeout, and the Red Sox finish the series with a win. They take 3 out of 4 from the Royals. So the Royals finish the season series 3-5 against the Red Sox. 6-1 today is the final. We'll be right back.